Hello, my name is Kristy Mudd. I am a person in long-term recovery, and I will have 7 years, October 29th, in sobriety. Today, I work in a community that I grew up in. I help people in a community that I used in. So I wanted to share my story with you all, and in hopes that maybe someone that watches this can get a little bit from and maybe help someone else. So, like I said, my name's Kristy, and I grew up here in Clermont County. I'm 42 years old, and my horrible nightmare started back when I was younger. When I was 18 years old, I hurt my back at a job that I was doing, and I was lifting too much, and next thing I know, I'm going to the doctor, and they're running all these tests, and they're prescribing more meds. I started going through a bunch of different physical therapy, injections in my back, nerve blocks, all kinds of stuff that I was willing to try to see if it gave me some relief. The pain medicine just kept getting stronger, and at that time when I first started taking the opiates, I think back, and I think back that for some reason I was one of those ones that didn't realize how addicting the opiates, the pain medicine was. I didn't want to say that I was blind to it, but I didn't realize. In my head, the doctor was prescribing this for me, so that's what I was going to take. So a few years of taking the pain medicine, doing the different treatments and therapy, it got to a point to where they wanted to do back surgery, and I didn't want back surgery for many different reasons. But the minute that I went against medical advice, is what they called it, of course the doctor cut me off. He cut me off from seeing me and cut me off from the pain medicine as well. So next thing I knew, I was out on the street and I was buying the pain medicine, trying to find it wherever I could find it. And, when I was growing up, I didn't grow up in a home where drugs were being used and partying and all that. I grew up in a home where, my family, we were a close-knit family. I was raised with morals, values, and manners. So those upcoming years ahead of me isn't something that I had ever experienced. In fact, when I remember still being in high school, and some of my friends were partying, using other drugs stronger than what I was doing, I thought I was different. I thought I was different. I don't know. I thought I was different, and obviously I wasn't different. Like I said, when the pain medicine got cut off and I was buying it on the street, still at that point didn't realize that there was an issue. I thought that's just what you did. And as the years went on, I found out that the pills were getting harder and harder to find. They were increasing in price. I'm like, well, wonder what else. Then the people that I was hanging around introduced me to a super duper pain reliever. I'll be honest, the first time that I did that, super duper pain reliever, I fell in love. I wondered where it had been my whole life. But on the flip side of that, I felt dirty. I felt nasty. It was weird. And then a few days after that, I found out that super duper pain reliever was better known as heroin. Like I said, I thought I was different. I didn't have no issues. Why? And now I'm doing heroin? Like, what? So for a while, I still thought I was different, and probably for about a year and a half, snorted it, just snorting it. Then I did something I promised myself I would never do, and I started using a needle. And I want to add into this as well as the whole time of this vicious cycle starting. I was in a relationship with a guy that had never struggled with drugs, and I had a little boy too in the midst of that. And it wasn't until after that year and a half of just snorting the heroin, it was after that that I realized that maybe I do have a problem. I had started seeing how things were spiraling, and this 20-something year thing of pain pill use, then you mesh in the heroin, then anything else that I could get my hands on that would take me out of my head, you know. So at that time that I also realized that I had a problem, I really didn't do anything about it. I, except for kept using, kept spiraling. Everybody else had the problem, not Kristy. I was still a functioning addict, took care of my son every day. I may not have been doing exactly the right thing, but you know, at that time I couldn't see it. So I was definitely present, but I wasn't present. So, you know, it's just like the years go on and you don't realize how hard you're spiraling, how quick and how much you're losing everything around you. You know, they tell you when you get into treatment that when that cycle is going on, you got these levels of like your shelter, food, water, housing, of needs. All those other things kind of get like wiped out. Your responsibilities, parenting, everything but the drug life. The drug life becomes the top priority, and you know, you're worrying more about the drugs than your food, shelter, all of your family, your responsibilities. You know, I tell people that it's almost like a demon overtakes your body. And that's how I felt. I felt like I had a demon inside my body, and I didn't have control. It made me into a person that I didn't want to be, a person that I swore I would never be. And everyone in my life around me had our one common goal with each other was the getting the high, getting the drugs, doing what you do to get the drugs, all of it. The true loved ones in my life that did not use, that were not in that life, sadly at that time I didn't have time for them because I was in a different life with a demon. And, you know, I had never been in trouble with the law, got in trouble, got caught with a needle, and that day that I got in trouble, I don't know, something came over me. Something came over me. My guilt and shame was just too much. I couldn't do it anymore. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I wasn't sure what I had to do, but I knew I had to do something different. So there's a police officer that was involved this day I got in trouble. You know, he said some things to me, take responsibility for my actions. You're a mom, do what you gotta do. If you've got a problem, go get help. Do what you need to do. You wanna be a functioning citizen in society, go do what you gotta do. I guess in one hand I knew what that meant, but on the other hand I didn't. But I knew right then that I needed to do something, and I needed to do something different. Facts are is that I was losing people around me almost on a daily, people overdosing and dying, people getting locked up, being sent away, so much loss, and I was tired of seeing that loss. So I got myself into treatment, and this time that I went, I was 100% ready to make those changes I needed to make. Those changes, they didn't come easy, It was 20-something years of out there using the drugs. Legally prescribed pain medicine is how it started. So, fast forward all those years, the only thing that I really knew was that I needed to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And I connected with one of my counselors the first week that I was in treatment, and he said, if you put just as much into this recovery as you did when you were out there using, you just might do it. I thought about that, and I thought about it for a while. Because if you struggled, if you're struggling, you know that it's a 24/7 job. It completely consumes every being of everything every day. So I thought about it, and I thought, well, he's right. If I can get up and put one foot in front of the other every single day and go and try my best and make these changes and be willing to listen to, essentially it was strangers, but it was strangers that I had to learn to trust so they could help me to help myself. The first month that I was in treatment, I knew that if I was one of the lucky ones to come out on the other side of this, I wanted to be able to help others to help themselves. So, I think about that time as I just dove in both feet, and I just worked through everything from childhood of, maybe loved ones not being there that I hadn't dealt with, relationships, past relationships that I thought I dealt with, but I didn't deal with because I just numbed. I put all that out on the table, and I worked through each of those things. And one of the bigger things that I knew I needed to do was I had to let go of some of that guilt and shame. I lost my dad in 2009, and when that happened, it damn near destroyed me. And he wasn't just my dad. He was a man he didn't have to be. He was the dad that he didn't have to be. And I knew all he wanted to do was see me have sobriety and to be able to live my life the way I should. So I dealt with that, and I knew that if I just kept pushing and doing what I had to, that it was going to get easier and easier. And it did. Did it stay easy? No, because there's good days and bad days. Life happens. And, being comfortable in your own skin isn't always easy. Even with almost 7 years today, I still have days that that maybe don't go good, that you have a crappy day. But I know that if I get up and I try my best every day, that's all that anybody can ask. Today I'm proud of who I am. It took a while to work through those things, but today being able to take some of my experience, strength, and hope and flip that in to help others to help themselves, then I want to do that. Today I'm not ashamed of saying that I'm a recovering heroin addict. Today I'm not ashamed that, being in long-term recovery is something to be proud about. Today, I have a great relationship with my son that just graduated high school, and we have a great relationship. Wasn't always that way because there's a lot of dark and bad times. But you know, I decided when I was going to share my story with you all today that I didn't want to go back too far into all the dark, hateful times. I choose not to focus on that piece. The struggle's real. It was not easy. It's not. But it wasn't easy going out there and making things happen to be able to continue to get high every day. That wasn't easy. So, and I think the biggest thing that I had to work on as well, and I still work on as a daily, is self-entitlement. We see it all the time. I'll be honest, nobody in this world owes me a damn thing. And if I want something, I have to go out there and I have to make it happen. And I love being able to share that with folks today because I didn't always think like that. I used to be a self-entitled, you know, but today I enjoy being able to help others and share a little bit of that experience. I'm grateful that I'm able to share that experience with my son today. I know what I was doing in high school, and I know what I was doing at 18 years old. So to be able to share that, and hopefully from his mom's negatives, hopefully he learns from that, or he can apply that in different ways of his life. And you know, today I'm proud of I'm proud of where I'm at in my recovery and my career. Never dreamt in a million years that I would have a career with retirement, with benefits, because I started volunteering here in Claremont County. Blows my mind still. And I'm getting ready to celebrate 4 years that I've been on in my position. And you know, it still blows my mind that there was actually folks here in Claremont County that recognized the need, and they got with some pretty unique, amazing people, all different walks of life. We came together and we helped build a recovery community in a sense, but it's a recovery where with its a buffet of options. Everyone's recovery looks differently, and that's one thing that I've really had to work on and recognize that, you know, just because someone else is struggling, they didn't have that same struggle as I. And all of our walks are different, but at the end of the day, we're all here for the same reason. You know, if I'm able to share and they're able to share, and then that's how we figure out what helps the most. Like I said, everyone's recovery is different. And being able to help others help themselves, walking beside, saying, listen, I get it. I've been there and I've done that. And let's try this, you know. You got to take your hands out of the mix and trust in others. It's cliche to say trust the process. For so many different reasons, that's so true. And at one time, I had a really hard time learning to trust the process. But like I said, today, I'm able to trust the process, plus I'm able to advocate for what I believe in, or I'm able to speak up and have a conversation about what I believe in. Today, I run with first responders here locally in Claremont County. I helped start a quick response team We call it QRT here locally. And that the quick response team, what that means is that we have a peer that goes out with first responders. We're out several times a week. We go out in the community, we're out in people's homes, we're going into the hospitals, to the jails, and connecting with folks and saying, look, I get it, I've been there and I've done that, I'm here to help you. I'm here to walk beside you. I don't want to dictate what you're gonna do, but I'd like to be able to help you help yourself, so you can walk down this path to recovery as well. Being able to ride around with first responders. 7.5 years ago, I ran from the police. I didn't associate with first responders. But today I have the utmost respect for those guys. They see a lot of the dark and the negative times, a lot of death, and so being able to go around with them, and not only am I able to show them that recovery is possible, but I'm also able to show the people out here in our communities that recovery is possible. I'm living proof of that. And I think it's so important to go back and thank the ones that were able to help you when you were needing help up. I think that's what helps keep me going, is being able, and it could be the smallest little thing for a conversation, but being there and saying that I'm here for you, I'm not judging you, I'm here for you. It's amazing. It's amazing to be a part of that, and being a part of an outreach team, working for an agency here in the county that believes in peer services, it believes in that recovery is possible. I'm a part of a 7-man outreach team right now. All of us are in recovery. I collaborate with people all over the county that have also struggled. I have some amazing friendships. I met my best friend because of recovery. It's amazing, and it's not that I'm special, and I don't think that I'm better than anybody. I'm just better than who I used to be. When I was talking a few minutes ago, I shared about my boyfriend and I using together. We got clean together, and we have also been able to maintain almost 7 years together. That has not been easy. And in fact, if you talk to professionals about you keeping that relationship with someone that you used with, a lot of the time they don't see a lot of success with that. There's codependency. You feed off of one another. I will tell you that mine and Timmy's recovery is night and day. I am social. I have to go out and socialize with people, and I love going to recovery events and being able to connect with others. And he's more on the personal, keeps to himself type, and that's okay as long as there's not too much of that isolation. I think I wanted to like highlight the fact that that him and I, when we first started dating 17.5 years ago, there was no using between either one of us. As far as in the beginning, I kept that from him, and a short time went on when it was still me hiding it, and then I remember when it started, and then we started using together, and we started graduating to higher drugs, using together, spiraling harder out of control. And I had always thought that Timmy would have been the one to get in trouble, and actually I was the one that got in trouble that day in October of 13, which I didn't think would happen, but it did. And today I know that was a blessing in disguise. I probably wouldn't be alive if that wouldn't have happened. You know, I had, not only did I have a problem with the opiates, I didn't share about that. I also had a problem with benzos, which, if you're not familiar with the benzodiazepine word, it's in the family with Xanax, Valium, Klonopin, Valium, things like that. Particularly, my choice of benzos was Xannies. Didn't think I had a problem with it. In fact, I think that was probably worse than the opiate addiction when it was all said and done. There's a lot that I don't remember, obviously, from the Xannies. But I can promise you this, that if I would have been using that way today, I would not be sitting here sharing my story with you. There's just no way. The drugs that are out there on the street today, here in 2020, it's mind-boggling. The potency, the different concoctions that are put in. Fact is, you have no idea what you're getting, no idea. And when I talk to folks daily, I always urge them to please make sure if you're going to continue to use, please make sure that you're using with other people around that are trained on Narcan, that are your friend, that will call 911. A lot of times when folks are found overdosed, they're found alone. And a lot of the time they're not using alone. And so I'm pretty passionate about that. I feel, you know, if you're with someone you're using and you get scared, they overdose, you get scared, don't run out and leave them. Don't. There's Good Samaritan law, there's Good Samaritan immunity. You can call 911, you can get help. If you feel you gotta leave, please call for help. You just don't leave someone. I've had friends that have been left. I've talked to folks often that are left, thrown out of the cars, and it's not okay. It's not okay. You know, when I speak all over, I tell folks that I didn't just wake up one day and say that my lifelong dream was to be a drug addict. There's a heck of a lot more to me than being a recovering heroin addict now. I'm somebody's daughter, I'm somebody's mother, I'm somebody's sister, I'm somebody's aunt, and I'm a friend to many. And there's a heck of a lot more to me than just that that dark phase of my life of me spiraling. Like I said, being able today to be a functioning citizen in society, I feel blessed of being one of the lucky ones, one of the survivors. And I love being able to go around and talk with other families and share my story with them, to let them see maybe a little glimmer of hope as well. Because I promise you that when your child or your relative or your friend, your spouse, whatever, when they're spiraling out of control and they're not acting themselves and they're doing bad things, that's not them. That's that demon in their body. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we don't have to be held accountable for the actions. There's consequences for every decision we make, good and bad. But what I am saying is that maybe take a second and just think for a brief sec about maybe how well a conversation could go if you had a little bit of compassion to talk to that person. Because I promise you, deep down inside, they may not show it, but deep down inside, we know what we're doing. We know, that it's not right, but that demon is over. It's like hijacked your body is I guess the best way to probably try to explain. Another thing I want to touch on before I go, relapse. Relapse happens. And just because somebody relapsed does not mean that it's the end of the world. But the important thing from that relapse is that the relapse happens if they're able to play that tape back through and figure out where it was that it went wrong. You adjust, you get back up, and you move on. And then the hope is that the next time that trigger or craving comes, that you're able to play that tape all the way through before the relapse happens. We know exactly what we didn't do, and I'm going to say it again. Put just as much into your recovery as you did to getting high. You just might be able to do this. There's people out here that care. There's people out here that will help you to help yourselves. Yeah, even in the probation department, even in the courts. I work with those great, amazing folks every day. And, I'm proud to say Clermont County has come a long ways in the past 6.5 years. When I first got into treatment, there wasn't support out here. The stigma was way worse than what it is now. And today I feel like there is so many of us in this community that are, we're changing what that front door to substance use services looks like. We're trying to wrap around folks and, let's help you with this substance use. Most of us that are struggling with substance use, most of us have some way, shape, or form mental health issues as well. So, you got to work on, not only are you working on the substance use, you got to work on the mental health and your physical health. I know a good part of my active addiction, I wasn't too worried about going to the doctor for your checkups and all those things that you're supposed to do yearly. So let us wrap around you and help you with all those things so that way you can begin to walk down this path with us and have this great experience that I'm proud to share with everyone today. And I want to thank you guys for listening to my story. I was a little nervous in the beginning, but I think we did well. And if you guys want to reach out, if you guys need help, someone that wants help, you can find me on Facebook under Kristy Mudd. My office is located over in Batavia at Claremont Recovery Center, which is a division of Greater Cincinnati Behavioral Health. I am on the outreach team. There's a bunch of us there. There's folks all throughout this community that get it, that care, and we can help you. Please reach out. Thank you all for listening, and take care of yourselves, and everybody stay safe.